Heavenly Father, I say thank you. I thank you for being God and God all by yourself. God, you're able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask for. Today we come touching and agreeing that someone might be saved, set free, healed, and delivered. God, move me out of the way so that they only hear you. Soften their hearts to make the word go deep down in it. God, I believe it's already done. In the matchless and marvelous name of Jesus the Christ, I pray. Amen. You know what just hit me? I said in the matchless and marvelous name of Jesus the Christ. I don't know about nobody else, but I understand that it was Jesus the Christ who saved me. It was Jesus the Christ who kept me. I ain't here to pump nobody up today, but get in where you fit in, because I'm going to get mine. We've been talking about connectivity issues. We've been talking about the infringement on our fruit. Last week, we talked about it costs too much to carry you. You've been infringing on my fruit, and I'm letting you know it costs too much to carry you. What am I saying? You've been taken from me. You are depleting my spirit, and it's costing me too much to continue to carry on this way. You know why I got quiet? Because when you start talking like that, people got to think. People got to start to reflect. And they start to wonder, like, wait, he or she has been infringing on my fruit. I do feel depleted every time I leave their presence. I hate going in my own house. I sit in the car for hours debating on whether I want to go in or not. And now I'm realizing it costs too much to carry you. John chapter 15:5 says, yes, I am the vine. You are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. 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 So even if you think you're doing something, apart from God, you ain't really doing nothing. Too often we mistake progress and productivity with purpose. And we ain't doing nothing to bring God glory. God is so just. God is so liberal in spaces that he will allow you to succeed and it still won't be worth nothing. Let me help y'all out. Because you might have success in this business, but you ain't really did it with no leadership from God. You ain't really did it to bring God no glory, but it's successful. But you learn real quick when your body gets sick, it ain't nothing that business could do to help you out. So really, apart from him, you ain't doing nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with this sermon. I'm just trying to share with y'all what it means for you to be branches to his vine. We talked last week about it. It costs too much to carry you. We gave out some principles. Y'all made me go back home and watch my sermon because at some point in the sermon, I think I gave a principle and y'all was like, no, that ain't the number. And I said, how I keep messing these numbers up? And I realized what I do is I might share a point and forget to say that it's the point. So principle number one was some of us are in prolonged pain because of our disobedience. Some of us are in prolonged pain because we are disobedient. If we remember correctly, we was in Jonah. And Jonah, after getting instructions from God to go to Nineveh, he went the opposite way. It said he went down to Tarshish to get on the boat. When he got on the boat, he went down in the bottom of the boat to go to sleep. When they tossed him down into the water in the mouth of a fish. Every time you go opposite of God, you're going to go down. But it don't really have to be that way, because in chapter 1, verse 3, it said, if he had just listened to that one instruction, there is no chapter 2, 3, 4. So some of y'all are experiencing chapter 3 and 4 right now because you ain't listening in chapter 1. God ain't intend for this story to be that long, but because you're disobedient and you want to do it your way, you got it all figured out, you know how it's going to go, now you're experiencing 3 and 4. And he only intended for you to have a 1. Principle number 2. Just because they paid don't mean you get to ride for free. Matter of fact, because they paid, they taking you on a ride. And we talked about how we allow people to dictate movement because they invested something in. This ain't in my notes, but I'm going to share it the way it's being delivered to me. You ready? You won't leave that no good because you done put too many years in. You won't leave her, bro, because I got time in. You got to really ask yourself, what has the time been worth? What has the time really profited you? See, you starting to feel like you in the later years of your life, so starting over ain't really in the cards. I'm here to tell you, just because they paid don't mean you get the ride. They've been taking you on a roller coaster ride your entire, and you won't hop off because you got time in. Let me ask you a question. Is it really worth it? Is your mental capacity? Is your emotional state? See, we always, in the world today, they scream out, oh, I'm just protecting my peace. And you are in total disarray at home. All over the world, you protecting peace. But you come in open game in your house. Principle number 3, carrying them is going to cost you. It said last week that when they was on the boat, all the men start tossing their goods over the side because the waves of the storm was rocking them so hard. They figured if they lessened the load, it would be easier to navigate. And after I went back and read it again, I learned something from those fishermen. It cost them their stuff because they was carrying Jonah. But they did something that most of us really need to do. When it get a little bit too rocky, every now and again, you got to shake off some weight. You got to drop some stuff off. Principle number 4, stop expecting people to move like you move in a time of storm. It said they was up top praying to their God. They went down to where Jonah was asleep, woke him up and said, yo, man, how you sleeping in the middle of all this? We up top praying. Won't you get up and pray to your God, and maybe all this will stop? And it made me wonder, why are you expecting other people to pray you through the storm? It burns me up. And I say this lovingly, but it burns me up when people walk up to the altar with the same problem every week for years. You know why God ain't answered yet? Because you ain't talked yet. You waiting for the pastor to talk for you. You waiting for the deacon to come and pray for you. You waiting for the elders to lay hands. God said, all I want to hear is your voice. It's your problem, but you want somebody else to pray for it to stop. He said, that's cool that they praying on your behalf, but when you going to open up your mouth? The devil done shut you up for a whole 365 days. I need you on day 366 to open up your mouth. I don't expect you to move like I moved during the storm. Some of us break down, cry, hide in the corner. Some of us walk through the storm like we got the good galoshes on. Little poncho, little ring hat. Look like the little girl in the salt box. And then some of us, as soon as we get a little bit of rain hitting us, we folding, shrivel up like the slug. Principle number 5, the interview happens at the beginning. After they start experiencing a storm, then they wanted to ask Jonah questions. They let him get on their boat because he paid. You let them get on your boat because they paid. But now everything is going crazy, and now you want to start asking questions. Where are you from? What your mama name? Who your daddy and them? What nationality are you? What's going on? And that's principle number 5. But principle number 6 is the response, right? Because his response to their questions gave them clarity. And I just want to believe that had they asked those questions in verse 4 of chapter 1, it might have prevented them from going through the storm. Because when he answered them, he gave them clarity as to why they were in the storm. He pretty much told them, I'm disobeying God. That's why I'm on your boat. And this is also why y'all experiencing the storm. See, when we connected to people that's in disobeyment, did I make that up? Yeah, disobeyment. I'm going to make it up. In disobeyment of God, you turn around and you realize you've gone through some troubles that was never designed for you. And the reason it's rocking your boat is because it ain't your trouble. I believe wholeheartedly God equips you for the trouble you got. But when you got to go through somebody else's trouble, it's hard to handle it. Principle number 6 was the response to the questions gave clarity. Let me help y'all. Clarity allows for better decision making. If you had asked her the questions up front, maybe you would have made a better decision on whether she became your lady or not. If you had asked him the better questions up front, it might determine who you roll over to every day and discuss. I know this don't feel good. I'm just talking to him, bro. I'm just talking. I'm sharing the word with them the way God talked to me regularly, y'all. I don't know how he talked to y'all, but he talked to me real regular. He don't talk to me in King James text. He don't this, thus, thou me. When I'm out of pocket, he say, Rich, you tripping. When I'm doing too much, he say, you need to slow down, Captain. When I'm out of line, he say, oh, okay. Got something for that. That's how God shared with me. So I'm going to share it that way with y'all. Principle number 7, don't miss your exit out of the storm. Storms start, they do what they do, and then they leave. And God gives us an exit for every storm. They missed their exit because when Jonah said, throw me overboard, now you done threw all your stuff willingly. But now the problem is saying, throw me overboard, and now you got hesitation. They missed that. You threw your stuff away willingly. But when the problem has to be tossed, now you on the ends figuring out how to get in. That was the exit to the storm. Throw me over, and this storm stops. The Bible says that they said, no, we're going to row a little harder. I came to tell you, no matter how hard you row, the storm ain't going to stop till you get rid of what's causing a storm. That was last week's lesson. This week we in Ruth, chapter 1, verse 16. It says, but Ruth replied, don't ask me to leave you or turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Wherever you go, I'ma go. Wherever you live, I'ma live. Your people, my people. Your God is my God. She brought a whole soul to church and they didn't even know it. Whole soul came to know God See, y'all, let me help y'all. Y'all understand what I'm talking about. This is Ruth talking to her mother-in-law, Naomi. Naomi believes in Jesus Christ. Ruth is a Moab woman. So she had a God, but it wasn't the God of all nations. So just by following, and this is ahead of my message, but just by following Naomi, she brought a soul to the kingdom. We talking about connectivity issues. If I had to give it a title, when I move, you move. When I move, you move. Most people are familiar with this passage of scripture and this story in the Bible because it's the story of Naomi, Ruth, and Boaz. I want to suggest that this is not just a story about Naomi, Ruth, and Boaz, but this is the book of positioning. How many of y'all read the story before? All right, that gives me clarity because people are like, what? It's the book of positioning. Let me tell y'all what position means. One of the definitions, it blessed me because it was exactly what I thought it was, but it was like number 4 or 5 on the list. But it says position means a person's point of view or attitude towards something. My point of view, the way I see it, and the way I react to it. So this is a book of what I see and how I react to it. Let me help y'all. Who we talking about? Naomi. She's the wife of Elimelech. Elimelech. That's like a tongue twister. Elimelech, who's a man from Bethlehem. Ruth is the daughter-in-law of Naomi, but also the widow of one of her sons. Boaz is a relative of Elimelech, but he's also a wealthy, influential man in the land of Bethlehem. So those are your 3 main characters, right? Good. So we know who we talking about. So let me help y'all. So what has happened is it was a famine in the land, and Elimelech took his family, which is Naomi and their 2 sons, and he moved out of Bethlehem down to Moab territory. I'm going to tell y'all the way it came to me. So they moved down to Moab territory. They go down there to live, and when they get there, he dies. Let me help y'all. Back then, as a woman, you needed a covering. And if your covering died, you were left without one until somebody else came along to marry you. Naomi is old. So they settle there for 10 years. While they're there for the 10 years, 2 of her sons married 2 Moab women, Orpah and Ruth. After they get married, 10 years into marriage, both the sons die. So now you got Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth without a covering. Check this out. Naomi, Orpah, Ruth, no covering, but Naomi is alone. Let me help y'all why. Help y'all out. She's in a foreign land with no husband. The other 2 are without a husband, but they home. So because they are home, they're not alone. Their families are still around. Naomi's there with nobody except them 2. So she makes a decision and she says, you know what? It's time for us to go back home because I heard her back in Judah. So I'm going to take the road. Y'all can come with me and we're going to be out. So as they're traveling the road, she stops and says to them, you know what? Y'all shouldn't come with me. They said, why? Why wouldn't we come with you? She said, listen, I need y'all to understand something. I'm old. Ain't nobody gonna marry me. I ain't having no more children. And even if I did and could, today, are you gonna wait for me to give birth, them to grow up, and then get married? Let me help y'all about Naomi. See, because everybody got their own story within this story. I'm gonna teach y'all something today. Y'all can shout next week. Naomi is struggling with depression. I'm saying this because people start to think that this is something that's new. Depression ain't new. Depression is really talking about how you view a thing and how you react to it. I told y'all this was the book of positioning. Naomi said, I'm old. Ain't nobody trying to holler at me. I ain't about to have nobody's babies. But even if I could, well, are you willing to wait that long to get married again? So I suggest y'all go back to your mom's houses. No, we're going to stay with you. And they cried together. They walk a little bit further. She said, hey, listen, I thought about it again. Y'all really shouldn't go with me. Listen, God has put his hand against me. She's sharing with you what she's depressed about. God took my husband, my sons, and had me in a foreign land. He's against me. So I wouldn't even want y'all to hang out with me because God is against me. Orpah, like most of us, was like, you ain't got to tell me no more. I'm going to leave. And she left. She said, oh, you gave me 2 warnings, so I ain't going to get no husband no time soon. And you got a curse on you, so I'm going to get out the way. But I want to encourage somebody today, like, we talking about positioning and heart conditions. Ruth, and I know, read your Bible. I don't know what y'all going to get out of it, but this is what I got when I read it. Ruth saw the condition of her mother-in-law. And instead of turning her back on her mother-in-law in a time of need, she said, no, I won't walk away from you. Not like this. See, because you need to be connected to people who understand in certain circumstances you don't need to be left alone. We talking about connectivity issues. She was connected to Naomi in a way that Orpah wasn't. She thanked them for being nice to her sons, but she said, y'all don't owe me nothing. Y'all can go ahead about y'all business. And that's when Naomi said to her very briefly, don't ask me to leave or turn back. Wherever you go, I'm going to go. Wherever you live, I'm going to live. Your people going to be my people. Your God will be my God. I don't know about you, but I would like to believe that was encouragement for Naomi to go on. So Naomi loses everything, but check her position. She says, I'm not good for anything because I don't have anything. How many of y'all ever been there? You down to your last dime. Bills piling up. Just lost your job. Not feeling sexy like you used to feel. You walk past the mirror, scare yourself. Principle number 1, I came to give you this because it's important. No matter how you look at you still got influence. You still got influence. See, because I need y'all to understand, God never told her any of these things. This was her position on how things was working out. God never said, I turned my back on you. God never said, I took your husband and your sons to punish you. That was her feeling. But she didn't recognize that she still had influence because she had a young lady who was nothing more than her daughter-in-law saying, wherever you go, I'm going to go. Whatever you do, I'm doing. You still got influence. Don't ask me to leave. Your God will be my God. That's Ruth's position. What am I saying? Y'all keep wondering why I keep saying the word position. Some of us are out of position. Let me help the brothers real quick. I'm going to give you a basketball analogy. So it's 5 players on the court for each team. That's 10 people. And when you come down, y'all run plays. Typically, if you in defense, you in the 1-3-1, the 1-2-2, or you might be straight up man to man. How many dudes in here play basketball? How many of y'all watch basketball? Okay, let me help you learn basketball too. You play defense, which means somebody's on offense trying to score. But if you are out of position on defense, it makes it easier for them to get baskets. The enemy is constantly trying to score. And if you ever out of position on defense, it makes it easier for him. See, the problem is the enemy was attacking Naomi in her mind. But because Ruth was in position, maybe I ain't saying spicy enough for them to get excited, but I know what I'm trying to help y'all, right? Because sometimes the only reason you able to get through is because somebody else is in position, making sure you ain't got it in you to pray. You don't feel like talking to God, but there's somebody out there playing defense for you. I hope this can help somebody today. I need you to understand that this is important, right? Because now Ruth and Naomi decide we're going to move forward and we're going to go. And Naomi is really hurting because she recognizes that I needed my husband. I needed my man. And it ain't enough. Let me help y'all. See, women today live by a different credo. I don't need no man. Till the snow fall and the trash got to be taken out. I don't need no man. Everybody a boss chick. Business lonely when you ain't got nobody to go home and share it with. See, the problem is women want to wear the pants and the boots too. I ain't gonna lie to you. My wife ain't in here. She helping over there. It's days she can have the pants because I don't want them. I might hand them to her. Put these pants and boots on. Go ahead out there and do what you got to do. But the overall makeup of the house should be man, woman, children, God at the top. That's the way it's set up. Okay. So they move forward, they move back, or they start walking towards where they got to go. Now, let me help you. I ain't going away from that. I looked at something and said, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it. Proverbs 18:22 say when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and he finds favor from God. When he finds a wife, you know, that confused me for a long time because I said, if she ain't with nobody, how you find a wife? It's because she's wifely before you ever said anything to her. We should look at Ruth's heart condition and her position before Boaz ever shows up. She was already in a posture to follow. She was already in a heart condition to follow, which means when my Boaz comes, I don't have no issue giving up. I don't have no problem following because that's my heart condition. See, let me help. I'm going to help the fellas out too. You ain't off the hook. Listen here. She want to live in her soft girl era. She don't want to have to handle everything. She handling it because you won't. She only put the pants on because she felt like she had to. She had already ironed her skirt and her blouse and hung it up ready to wear it. And she put the pants on when she realized she was by herself, even though she was with you. Y'all make sure y'all got my back on the way out of here, because I can tell y'all these looks ain't right. I'm telling you, they looking at me funny up here, I'm telling you. But I need us to understand her position. See, we always talk about her and Boaz, but nobody talks about her position before he ever showed up. She didn't even know it was a Boaz before she had the heart to follow. Naomi still had influence. See, because I would like to believe that at some point she sat back and just watched Naomi. Although she went through her space of depression, she understood that Naomi was a wife. Oh, God. It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and favor. And favor. That means in addition to having good thing, I'm just trying to help married couples out and people who want to be married, about to get married. When you find good thing, you also get favor from God. Not a girlfriend. I'm going to look at my computer while I say this stuff. Not a girlfriend. Not the side joint. Not the boo thing. Not the jump off. Because people wondering why they're not experiencing the favor. And it's because you ain't really got a good thing. Jesus, I'm just trying to help them. I'm telling you, I'm trying to help them. Because Ruth was watching Naomi. I need y'all to take this next point. Principle number 2. Connect yourself to an example you would like to follow. Let me give y'all something to really think about. Too often we got eagle thoughts with pigeon movement. Bar. We think big, but we move real little. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And when you look at your friend circle, ain't nobody you around doing nothing you talking about. Matter of fact, most of them doing worse than you, and you are the person they pull from. I'm trying to help y'all, right? Because we can't keep saying we aspire to do all of these things, and ain't nobody in our friend circle doing those things. Because you know what winds up happening? I'm going to talk to you. People wind up getting in a circle, and really what becomes is a bunch of lies to each other. Y'all lie to each other to impress one another because really ain't none of y'all doing nothing. And the reality is y'all want to go higher, but y'all haven't connected with anybody who been where you want to go. Ruth desired to be a wife again, so she connected with somebody who knew how to be a wife. I'm going to help y'all. Y'all can be mad at me. I don't care. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. If your girlfriends are still out here twerking at the club, that ain't going to get you no Boaz. That might get you his brother, Poe. You know Bo and Poe is brothers. I ain't going to say his last name. But that's what it'll get you. Because your friend circle ain't looking like where you want to be. So it says, they get to Judah, and Ruth says, let me go out and start plowing and working the fields so I can get us some barley. See, because I don't have a man, I got to wear the pants and the boots. But I'm going to do it because it's temporary. See, because this space ain't meant to make you bitter towards men. I just helped a million people. This space ain't meant to make you bitter. I got to share it the way I heard it, Jenny. This isn't to make you understand all he has to do when you come along. It makes you more sensitive. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even know this was about relationships. This is about connectivity. But a marriage is a connection. So what I'm saying is, God is allowing you to operate in this space so you have better understanding when he come home from work frustrated. You know what's funny? I knew they wasn't going to clap today. I knew it. Because what it means is stop fussing so much. Stop being so quick to get angry. This ain't in my notes, but I'm going to say it. As black men, we go out into this world every day and get beat up. The last place I want to get punched on is at home. House should be peaceful. You know something I noticed my wife do? And she work too. But this is something she do because it's her heart condition. I get in from work, candles burning, stove got food on it, the TV on, but she always play this, it's like a YouTube video, and they shouting, and it's a loop of the song, "The Storm is Passing Over." And that'll be playing on the TV, and I can walk in the house and sit down and just take a deep breath. She started every conversation with, "How was your day?" And I got to determine whether it's my time to pour out everything I'm feeling or go, "It was okay, honey. How was yours?" I'm trying to help y'all be married. And I ain't sitting here fronting like we perfect, but I'm trying to tell you how it worked. See, because after you pour that little bit of energy into him, now he like, "Baby, what you need? I'm going to go over here and fix this light bulb. I know it's been out for a couple of days. I'm going to get it today." But I need y'all to understand, Ruth had a heart condition and she had a position. She said, "I'm going to go out in the field. I'm going to do this little bit of work." What she didn't know is that she was working in Boaz's field. Say it again, Jenny. She was in position and ain't even know she was in position. Me and my wife had this conversation some time ago, and it came back up a couple days ago. I said, I'm not one of them people who be like, people shouldn't date in church. I feel like you shouldn't be all over the church. But where else are you going to find somebody at if that's where you spend your time? Let me help y'all. If I go to church Sunday, Tuesday choir rehearsal, Wednesday Bible study, Thursday prayer, where else I'm going to meet somebody at unless I'm in passing? So don't run amok in the church, because we're going to have a different conversation. But the way it looked to me is that Ruth was working and Boaz noticed her working. Let me say it again, because maybe they thought I put a T. Ruth was working, not twerking. I'm trying to help somebody, because if that's listen, you can find whatever you want if you go looking. But she was working, and we looking for the girl that's on the gram. We looking for the dude who's supposed to be a personal trainer, but he ain't got no clothes on. What are we doing? It says she was working and he noticed her. He went to the people that worked for him and said, "Who that young lady back there?" Let me help y'all. He wasn't lusting after her. Here go another bar. Lust don't last long. I'm going to look y'all way. Lust don't last long. So it's cool for him to lust over you. Just know that it got a time stamp on it. You want somebody to look at you working and go, "I like what she doing. I'm impressed by her movement. I see how she doing things, and I ain't even really looking at her like that, but I see where she at." See, but everybody want to be wanted. My question is what they want. The interview at the beginning. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead. So her position was to work, and Boaz says, "Who is that? Who's that young lady in the back of the field working?" And she just minding her business working, but she's still in position. God has a way of putting things in position when you got a position for him. Because she had a heart condition to serve, he put her in position to be served. I don't even want to talk to them no more. Because I don't think y'all getting me, right? And I ain't saying y'all ain't understanding. What I'm saying is I need y'all to really process this. If my heart condition is right, God will position me in places, even though it look weird and crazy to me, he will position me in places that puts me in a position to be served. It says, and I can close my notes because I studied this. It says that as she's working, he asks her, who are you? What are you doing out here in my field? Oh, I'm Ruth. I'm just out here working. He said, cool. I'm gonna hook you up. He told her to lay her little situation down. He tell his workers, yo, dump a little extra barley in her little. See, that was old school game. He was running game. He knew how to holler. He said, she out here working for barley. I'm gonna make it a little easier for her. Y'all scoop it up, put it in her little satchel, and don't give her a hard time. I just gave him another bar on the low. That was a sneaky bar. See, some bars is right out, and then some bars you gotta go back and be like, oh. When Boaz show up, he make it easier for you to work. She go back to Naomi. Naomi like, where you get all this from? See, because y'all got to understand her position too. She's behind the workers. Which means they're working, they're picking up everything, and she's just getting the scraps. So when she came back the first time, she didn't really have nothing. So when you come back and your little satchel is full of barley, Naomi like, where you get all? I was out in the field. Dude named Boaz walked up on me and gave me a little. She said, come here, baby, let me give you some game. See, because when you connect it, right? People who connected to you for the right reasons hear your blessing coming and they start to push you to your blessing. If you feel your blessing coming and somebody start pulling you back, run, baby, run. Because that ain't the person. The person you need should be pushing you towards what it is God is calling you to. She said, come here, baby, I'm going to give you some game. She said, this is what I need you to do. After he finished eating and drinking tonight, and it said, and he in a good place. In other words, this another bar. These Bibles got bars in them. Because it said after he ate and drank, he going to be in a good place. Let me help another lady out. Before you start telling your husband all the problems, feed him and give him something to drink and let him sit down. It's much more received when my stomach ain't growling. My throat ain't parched. Man, I'm giving y'all so much marriage counseling for free. Y'all tripping. He said, come here, baby, let me show you how to do it. After he done ate and drank something and he laid down, go in there. Don't wake him up. Lay at his feet. Put your nice perfume on. Smell nice, look good. You ain't got to. Jesus. She ain't say go in there and seduce him. See, oh, Jesus. People get mad when people only want them for one reason, but you have to accept responsibility in the fact that that's the only thing that you ever speak to. If all I do is entice your flesh, don't be mad if I'm after your flesh. See, but when I come to you in a submissive position, you telling me that you're ready to be a wife. Let me tell y'all something. The day Boaz found her as a wife was the day after he ate, drank something good, and woke up and she was laying at his feet. He woke up and said, what you doing here? Nothing, I'm just laying at your feet. Let me cover him up. You won't be cold. I got you. He woke up, he said, hey, listen, you ain't supposed to be here. And I don't want nobody to see you coming out of here. So take this stuff with you. But I see you. See, you don't want the instant holler. Shirley, I'm trying to help him. See, when you get the instant holler, you just one of many that have been hollered at. I can't make it no plainer than that. See, it's a difference between courting and fishing. And when you get hollered at, he just fishing. Ain't nobody else took the bait yet, and he hoping you the one. But when you courting, she cover your feet up, and you tell her to get out of harm's way. So she left. Boaz said, hey, listen, let me have a conversation with you real quick. He said, you don't have a husband, but I know a man that might marry you, who's closer to you than me. I'm going to go get him and see if y'all can get married. Now remember, Naomi set her up for Boaz. But Boaz trying to give her the Poe. Poe says, let me show y'all how Boaz did everything right, because this for the fellas. Y'all ain't off the hook in this message. He went to the people of the town. He had witnesses come in because it was customary back then for them to go and do things in order. Let me help y'all. Don't come to me telling me as my child that you got somebody trying to marry you and I never met him. I need to meet his parents. I need to see what his household been like. He got too many tattoos on his face, baby. We're going to have to come up with an alternative plan. I'm just telling you how I move as a dad. But Boaz did things right. He went to Poe and he said, hey, listen, it's a young lady here. If you take this land, if you buy this land, she comes with the land. So if you buy the land, you not only have to take care of the land, but you got to take care of her. Poe said, nah, I can't do that. Go read your Bible. It's in there. Poe said, I ain't taking care of no woman. See, the problem is people don't have nobody setting it up right, and they go to Poe first. And they find out Poe ain't taking care of no woman halfway through the relationship. But because Boaz did it right, it was customary for them to take off a sandal, hand it to the other man and say, I decline this offer. So Poe took his sandal off, handed it to Bo and said, it's yours. That's what Bo wanted anyway. Bo goes back the roof and he goes, I've acquired this land and you. And now I'm going to take care of the land and you. Can I go back to the beginning where it said Boaz was a wealthy man? God ain't set you up with no bum. He ain't set you up with no bum. It said Boaz was a wealthy man. So then he tells Ruth, he said, listen here, Ruth, not only am I going to marry you, but you're going to have a child. Let me help y'all. This wasn't any old child. I want y'all to go back and read, I think it's chapter 4. It's like the last 3 or 4 verses. And it tells you the lineage of who Ruth gave birth to. Ruth was the great-great-great-grandmama David. Y'all better read that Bible. It blessed me when I saw that. Because you never really ask who people mamas are. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor from the Lord. So now I understand why David was favored, because his daddy's daddy was favored. Boaz was the great-great-grandpappy of David. And David got favor from God because he promised Boaz favor when he married Ruth. Jesus. This is too good. Some of y'all are blessed right now because of the favor of Meemaw, Nana. I understand that Vera was blessed. See, y'all know Vera. That's my Gigi. That's my great-grandmother. That's my grandmom's mom and my mom's mom. So I got favor in my life because of something that happened way before I ever existed. And I had a grandpop named Rock. I don't know a lot about my grandpop, but I remember him. And I remember that he was a stern gentleman. My grandma, my great-grandma was a stern woman, but they loved God. And because God got favor on them, it trickled down from my grandmom to my mom, to me, to my children, to my children's children. Some of y'all ain't shouting hard enough. The reason the streets ain't took your baby away from you yet is because the favor on your life trickled down from some people up top. So you better learn how to give God glory for the people who prayed for you, the people who stood, come on, they stood in the gap for you. Yeah, you might have slipped up a little bit. Yeah, you got caught out here, but it ain't take you out because somebody way before you ever existed was praying for you. Somebody had favor on their life, and just so happened, favor run down. We need to stop living so little when we connected to giants. I ain't gonna run. See, I understand this thing different. I realize it ain't no doing on my own. I realize that I ain't been good enough. Now, let me help y'all. I did some things that I'll never share across this pulpit. But God still saw fit to let the favor from the people who came before me fall on me. Some of y'all sitting here today, messed up in your mind, messed up in your body, but you here because you got favor. You here because God never forgot. And God is not a man that he should lie. And because he promised it to Boaz, he gave it to David. Just like that. We got to be careful who we connect ourselves to. If you connected to somebody that's pulling you away from God, get out the way. If you connected to somebody that depletes all your energy, get out the way. If you connected to somebody that God told you no to, but you said yes, get out the way. Because God got a Boaz somewhere for you. But it's not just about you getting a Boaz. It's about your children getting favor. I thank God for my roof. Because I know for a fact that when I found her, I found favor. Let me help y'all. I met my wife in church. She was there for 3 years and I had never seen her. My church wasn't that big. My church might have been one side of this building. It was about this big. And I went to go talk to an older woman named Mom Johnson. Mom Johnson was 94 years old. She was living in like assisted living care. And I would go see her probably 3-4 days a week. And one day she said, you know, before I leave here, I need to get you a girlfriend. I said, Mom Johnson, I don't need no girlfriend. We laughed about it. The next time I came, she said, yeah, remember our conversation? I need to get you a girlfriend. So I said, Mom, let me tell you about this lady I met. And I started to explain my wife. I never said a name. I explained her. She said, oh, you mean the lady that sit about 3 rows in front of me on the left-hand side? Here's the kicker. Mom Johnson hadn't been to church in over 3.5 years. I said, hold up. You know who I'm talking about? I said, when you see her? She said, she been there, baby. God will keep you blind until he wants you to see. Because there was a lot of people in there who thought they was about to be Miss Thomas. I'm just telling the truth. But I wasn't really looking. I was just like, yo, let me just live. I got some stuff going on. I'm trying to figure it out. And one day I opened my eyes and it was a little chocolate thing sitting about row 3, 2 seats over. I'm on the drums like, okay, I see you. I put a little extra on it that Sunday. Y'all tripping. I put a little bit of extra barley in her little sack. Y'all tripping. I said, she gonna see me. Y'all wanna hear the funny part? She wouldn't talk to me. She fleed me for about 6 months. Anytime I came around, she would run away from me. I'd be like, hey, good morning. Yeah, all right, whatever. I was like, why is this lady fleeing me? I'm like, I gotta go do something. I'm in the gym working out. I was like, she's gonna get it together. But God will give you the desires of your heart if you do it the right way. Mom Johnson said, bring her up here to meet me. And I did just that. I took her up there. She said, I knew that was you. She talked to her and you know what she told her? Take care of my boy. Mom Johnson ain't stay around too much longer after that. But she wanted to make sure I was good. Mom Johnson, you did good. See, she ain't pull me away and try to give me the girlfriend. She pushed me towards. Question is real simple. You want Bo or you want Poe? Because both of them coming. But you got to be in the right position to notice who's who. Let me help you. You got to be in the right position to notice who's who. Because Bo gonna speak to your heart condition. Poe gonna speak to your flesh. So you gotta know who's who. We still talking about connectivity issues. When I move, you move. People out in the clubs say just like that.